Dan's a fantastic man. He really is.
Ladies and gentlemen.
What's going on, everybody? It's Dan French. It's the French Workbench Podcast. We got a full studio of people here today. A lot of good information, financing, real estate, entrepreneurs, full cast. I'm your host, Dan French, streaming live from Las Vegas. Thank you guys for tuning in. The people that were waiting in the waiting room, if you guys like the content, please subscribe to the channel. Also hit that like button. We need the likes. We need the subscribers. And we're going to go ahead and introduce our crew here today. We're going to talk with Matt Shield. Matt, what's up, buddy? How's life, man?
Life is awesome, thank you.
Life is good, huh?
Very awesome.
Yes. What's going on with you, man? You seem like you're really just happy, go lucky. Everything's just, the world's just light for you today, man. What's going on?
Everything has been synchronistically popping.
Why, man? What's been going on? You just, things are just happening? Like the vibe is there? Like
things are happening, and it's been really cool and profound.
Excellent, man.
Yeah, so that's all I can say right
anything
now.
new going on in your world?
Anything new? Anything new? Yes.
Tell me what's new in Matt Shield's world, man. What's going on, buddy?
What's new in my world? What's new in my world? It's just really good stuff. I can't really talk about it.
Yeah, it's just kind of one of those things that's hidden, right?
It's classified. You'll know about it soon. That's all I can say.
Absolutely.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I can't offer more.
Yeah.
But it's really cool, and I will share it when the time is right.
Absolutely. Also, we have Esmeralda Lucia. She's back and she's ready to go. What's going on today, Esmeralda? You came flying over here. I said, do you want to come on the show? And she's like, I'll be there in 20.
I came excited. I was
you were ready.
So I was going to leave and go visit my mom. But
and you said this is equally important, right?
Yeah, I was like, let me stay here. Let me listen to what you guys have to say.
Also, we have another guest, but I'm going to introduce him last. Joey Andron's back. Joey, what's up, buddy? How are you?
What's up, Dan?
Dude, what's been going on in your world, man?
Oh my God, it's been a minute since I've seen you.
Dude, it's been a long time. What have you been up to?
Just in the grind.
Just doing your deal?
Yeah, slanging houses.
Slanging houses.
That's what I do.
You know, it's weird, man, because it's kind of a weird market right now, and it's like little pockets where it's like, okay, it's starting to pick up, and it slows down again. So I don't know. It's weird.
No, it's very interesting you say that, because I did feel as if there was a time period, like very, very short time period, like, hey, look, this actual market's opening up, you know, like we won't have to fight for these properties, and all of a sudden started spinning off, and I was like right back in the thick of it.
Yeah.
So it's pretty interesting. I mean, the market's still strong. I mean, we're still in the same position we were the last time that I was here a couple of months ago.
Yeah.
But you know, it's really exciting to see how this market's growing, and you know, we'll see what happens in 2022, but I'll tell you what, no signs of it slowing down.
Dude, you just got into a house, right? How's that going?
Yeah, fantastic. Yeah, pool's almost done. House is almost done.
You built a pool after you got it? So you had somebody come in and take it? Dude, that's expensive, isn't it?
Dude, 60 days.
What was the cost? I don't want to go crazy, but what is the cost?
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's did you use up some juice to get that done?
I did.
I'm sure you did.
So you didn't? Did you pay the normal amount, or you just got somebody that you like? You know,
I think I overpaid.
Do you?
Yeah, I think you for 60 days. I think you may have overpaid.
You know, I put the pressure. You know, hey, listen. You know, I'm not going to tell you how much exactly I paid.
Yeah.
But it was at 110,000.
Yeah.
Wow, that's a lot, man. 110,000
Yeah.
for a pool.
Exactly.
That was amazing.
Yeah, but
I'm not going to tell you the full number.
Yeah.
There's more.
But I would say that
is it an island?
I would say they wanted to do it in 60 days because they wanted to get paid quickly.
Yeah. No. I mean, hey, look. You know
and
what?
They did a good job.
They did a fantastic
job. Was it your regular dude?
It is.
Yeah. So he owed you as well.
Yeah. No. I mean, the timing couldn't have been better. These guys have been fantastic. I refer them to a lot of my clients, and you know, they do great work. Cool. You know, so hey, look, you get what you pay for, right?
Yeah, I mean, to me, it's hard because like if you have the ability, no, it is. I mean, for me, it's like I would sit there and I would have a long conversation with my girl about, do we really need this pool?
Have you had a pool before?
I have, yeah. I grew up. Yeah, so I'm originally from South Florida, so I grew up with a pool. I mean, I was in our backyard. You know, if it wasn't my backyard, it was somebody else's pool.
I mean, if you're by the beach or you're by water growing up, you're probably going to need a pool.
So when I first got my first home. And like this was in like 2008, like I think I can't remember, about 8 before the crash.
Yeah,
that was before I was doing real estate. So I wanted to get a pool because in England, if you have a pool, you're rich. Like, and so Facebook had just come out, and so I was like, fuck yeah, I'm getting, excuse my language.
So how much?
I'm gonna get a pool, so listen. So I got the pool, and then I was like, on Facebook, like, look at me, I got my pool, and I'm like,
And you're brushing it?
Yeah. And then,
Did you have a little banana hammock?
no, I didn't.
That's what they wear in London, right?
No. I had Speedo shorts.
Speedos. Oh, is that
they were shorts.
They're called
They were
catch me get me's.
shorts.
Catch me get me's.
I wasn't flaunting the banana hammock.
But do you feel like uncomfortable? I mean, not saying, but like wearing those, you don't feel uncomfortable. Like if I was going down to like the pool here or something, like just showing up.
Dan, it depends what you're packing in your lunchbox.
You must be packing a heavy set.
He's like, the shorter the better.
No, that's not true.
All right, we're gonna go over here and introduce. We got Josh Katz. He's from Lucas Bols, and he's here. He's gonna talk to us about the liquor industry and what really happens behind the scenes, right? So you're I wouldn't say you're an entrepreneur, but I guess you can kind of compare that to being an entrepreneur. So tell us a little bit about you and what you do and how you got to where you're at.
Yeah, no doubt. Thanks for having me. First of all, I'm 7 days into Nevada. I've been here in Nevada. Excuse me, Nevada, right?
Oh, Nevada.
Like as far as like actual living here, or just visiting, or just business?
Living.
Oh,
I
wow.
just moved here. My wife and I built a home. So
Welcome.
yeah, thank you very much. Super stoked on it. Coming from Denver. That's been my home for the last
I like
9
Denver.
years.
Denver, huh?
Yeah.
Denver's nice though. It's growing, isn't it? It's going
It
crazy.
is. And that was one of the reasons we exited, Dan, was it was growing too crazy.
Yeah.
It was great, but it was getting so saturated. Cost of living.
I got a question though. Vegas, right? Yeah. Vegas is growing quickly too. So I understand, but did that like kind of maybe think twice about? Because I'm not saying Vegas is like Denver. Denver seemed like it's like Hollywood, right? The prices of homes are going crazy. Everything's it's like overpriced pretty much, right? So are you kind of going through the same thing where you're like, well, Vegas might be a better place just because it's not to that level yet? Is that kind of where you looked at it?
Yeah, a little bit of both. We looked at it like when we moved to Denver 10 years ago, it was still a little undiscovered. You could get out, you could move around. The cost of living wasn't as high as it was right now. And then when we came here to visit a few times and see what it was like to be a local, spend some time in Summerlin, some time in Henderson, moved out to Lake Las Vegas, where we ultimately built, we really were wowed by this place. And then we were wowed by the price of living, the cost of living, everything you could do here, kind of move around. No state income tax was a big factor for me. And yeah, we're happy to put some roots down. So we'll be here for, I think, the next 5-7 years.
Is the price of homes cheaper here than they are in Colorado?
I don't know if it's cheaper per se, but what you get for what you pay, you get more.
You get more.
Yeah, so we were able to get a backyard. We were able to get some nice views. We were able to get a driveway. What they're doing in Denver, at least in the metro areas, they're really building things right on top of each other right now.
I have a friend who built a place, and it's like they're all tight on top of each other, 3-story, no real yard, like an area, and like it's high density.
Exactly.
Right?
I think high density is the best word. High density and high cost. So, you're spending upwards of $800,000 for a house.
And you're not getting the yard.
And you're sharing your driveway with your neighbor.
That's
to me,
what
that doesn't necessarily make sense. Yeah.
Is it kind of like, because I've not really been to Denver like
Me
that,
neither.
And is it kind of like where everything's new, but it just seems like they're trying to stack homes as many as they can because the area is not.
Is there a shortage of space in Denver?
Yeah.
I don't know Denver.
I don't think there's a shortage of space necessarily in the Front Range, but everybody wants to be in the metro Denver area. But there's beautiful opportunities just about an hour north or an hour south of there. You go down to Colorado Springs, you can get a nice piece of land, but again, you're an hour and a half from the city.
Right.
You go up north to Fort Collins, to those areas, beautiful place. You can grab some nice property, but again, you're an hour and a half from the city, which isn't out of this world, but at the same time, you're quite disconnected. So it depends on what you're looking for. But yeah, the Front Range metro area is quite saturated right now, and it shows no signs of stopping. I love Denver. I recommend you go, everybody go, spend some time. It's beautiful that you can be in Denver and then be in the mountains in less than an hour.
Did you ski or did you snowboard?
Snowboard.
Did you?
Yep.
Were you an avid snowboarder? Like you were going like pretty actively?
So that was one of the big tickets for me to move to South Florida to Denver, was the fact that I could jump in the car and be on the mountain in an hour and a half. You're not going to like some of the world-class mountains that there are out there.
You're not going to like Mount Charleston then. I mean, it is snowboarding. You can snowboard in like an hour's drive from Vegas and you can be going, but it's not Denver. You know, you're gonna have to go
You
up to
get 30
Utah.
30-second runs.
Utah.
30-second runs.
And that was our decision with my wife
Yeah.
and I, is to stay in this Western corridor pocket. So,
Yeah.
you know, we can be in Utah in an hour. We can drive to San Diego
Yeah.
in
You know
4
Vegas
hours.
is hot though. It's not cool.
I
like-
know. We're going to see
Oh,
how that
man.
goes. We're going to see how that goes.
What's the weather like there? How hot does it get in Denver?
You know, it'll get over 100, but being that we're at a 5280 elevation in the city,
Yeah.
you know, so one, that takes a lot of the heat out of it, if you will, and then it's super dry. So even though it's 99, 102,
Yeah.
you really don't have any inclination that it's that hot. I mean, we'll be outside in July, the dead heat of the summer.
Yeah.
But you won't realize that it's that hot because, again, you're living at that elevation. So, you know, it's all kind of respective, I guess, in a change.
So the company you work for, let's talk a little bit about that.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. You guys can maybe chime in here. If you with the whole company situation on liquor. Now, are you guys a big distributor, not just in Las Vegas, but you said globally, right?
Yeah, so I work for a company where we like to call ourselves a 400-year startup company. We've been around since 1875.
Okay.
Lucas Bols is one of the oldest distilled companies in the world. The Dutch actually started distilling and making gin before the Brits did. We all know London Dry Gin.
Oh.
But the Dutch are actually the one that created the recipe for gin. Which is traditionally called Geneva. And so if you go into a lot of these cocktail bars anywhere on the Strip, Herbs and Rye are some good clients of ours here, and anywhere throughout all these other cocktail bars, you'll find Geneva. And everybody knows that Bols is the authority of cocktails. So we've been doing it for a little over 400 years. We're coming up on our 450 birthday coming
Wow.
soon. Yeah, it's quite impressive. We make a lot of digestifs, aperitif, import that in here. And so it's been a really good transition to watch our business be so focused on the bars and restaurants to now people making cocktails at home.
Did that affect you during COVID though? Like your business, the way you guys shut
yeah.
down because of all the
Decimated it.
restaurants and everything, right?
100%. I mean, 87% of our business is done through the bars and restaurants. And when COVID hit, I mean, it decimated basically 85% of it.
So you've got like fancy gin.
We do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like authentic,
Yep.
original fancy gin,
Yep.
which is like the Herbs and Rye is a good place, and that they've got the good
Nice.
stuff.
They do.
How much is a bottle?
So a bottle of retail, you can find it at Total Wine on the shelves, probably $32.99 for a liter. So go home, make yourself 15 cocktails if you like. You can
Yeah.
make a Negroni, you can make an Old Fashioned, you can make a Manhattan. The original Dutch gin is quite versatile on all the different things you can make.
We
with it.
in England, I used to play a lot of rugby, and we had a rugby song, and one of the verses was, "I like the gin because it helps me get in." And then the chorus is, "But most of all, I like the vino," and then but you had all these different like, but gin, that was the gin chorus.
Yeah.
Yeah, have you ever tried Bols Geneva?
Bols Geneva? No, I haven't tried Bols Geneva.
Yeah.
No, I haven't.
Yeah, it's a great cocktail.
Yeah, you got to try
I
it.
don't
What,
think
do you know
I
what's
will.
in it? What's in that?
Bols.
Yeah, what's the?
Well, the Geneva is like it's like a gin, right? It's like a gin or whiskey, right?
Yeah, it's the predecessor to London Dry Gin. So it's wheat, corn, and rye is the
Okay.
base of it. So you could almost kind of compare it to a whiskey, if you will. And then we distill it 8 times, and we remove that malt from it. So you have this.
It's very clean.
It's clean. It's clear.
It doesn't
it's
give you
very-
a hangover.
You know, I'm not gonna go out there. I guess it depends on your level of hangovers.
Depends on how much you drink. I mean,
So
where's that stopping point at, right?
Exactly.
So that's the cleanest you said, right? Or what's the cleanest liquor that you have, or maybe the highest cost? Would you say that you guys sell?
You know, I don't know if it's about a cleaner or higher cost. We really pride ourselves in, and we were talking about this earlier, about being entrepreneurial. So my entire company is focused on entrepreneurialism. We bring everybody into this company and we say, hey, you work for a 400-year-old company that's making gin and cocktails for a long, long time, but you run your market. You can get to understand. So what's working in California for us at the moment is these very sort of high-proof bitter cocktails. Well, you get down to the East Coast or South Florida, it's very citrus-forward cocktails.
Oh, really?
People want
Yeah.
different versatility in
The
the cocktails
beach
that they're
and
drinking.
stuff.
Right,
You know
exactly.
what? That makes sense because a lot of our Californian clients are quite bitter with California, and they come to Nevada
Absolutely.
to save money all the way around.
So sweet cocktails for
We
them.
have like nice clean cocktails here.
Yeah, exactly.
Joey, you're a citrus guy then, huh? Citrus.
I'm an everything guy.
You got no complaints, huh?
No complaints. I like to have like a variety pack. You know.
I got you. So when you're out there and you're recruiting these people, and obviously you're telling them, hey, come to Vegas. Vegas is obviously a big distributor or a big vendor for you guys, right?
It is.
Okay. Is it probably one of the bigger? I would think it would be one of the bigger that you guys deal with. Is that?
It is yes and no in the sense because it's a big market, but it's ultimately dominated by the casino properties.
Really?
So that's where the
battle is for you guys.
The liquor industry, I mean, call it what it is. The bigger the brand, the bigger the checkbook. And it depends. Where do you want to play as a brand? Do you want to put yourself out there on a certain amount of level, or do you really want to focus? And I go back to that Herbs and Rye, account because they're the bartender. They're the people that Bols traditionally likes to work with. We love them. They love the cocktail. They're taking pride. They can educate you when you sit down at the bar. They understand what you're looking to drink versus me, putting myself out there for, all the different venues that are here in Vegas. So it's an interesting playing field in the U.S. I would say that California, Texas, and Florida are our biggest markets. And then Vegas, from a promotional advertising standpoint, is our biggest market. Yeah, but from a consumption standpoint, Vegas probably ranks number 5 for us.
Okay, so it's still top 5. It's not bad.
No, not at all.
Still a good place.
And I got to give some shout outs to the liquor stores here. I mean, Lee's Liquor, it's a big customer for us.
He recently died.
Yeah.
Well, Mr. Lee died.
Yeah.
So prayers to Mr. Lee. But
that guy came to America with nothing.
It's a great story. It really is.
Just blew up his liquor store.
He really did.
I think go ahead.
No, I was just going to say,
did an incredible job.
And shout out to the son who, has really taken over his father's legacy and what he came, to your point, to build here in the U.S. and what he stuck a flag in. I mean, there's a lot of liquor stores up and down the street. There's Total Wine, up and down the street. There's a lot of places you can go, but Lee's has really cemented themselves, and for the son to take over that ownership. And trust me when I tell you that people are looking to buy that business. And he said, no, I'm going to carry on my family and my father's legacy. So shout out to Lee's, and appreciate you, Lee's, for what you do for us at Lucas Bols.
That's interesting. I would think what you're trying to think how much consumption these people, or not just people, but Las Vegas does on an annual basis. I mean, it's probably... Obviously not last year.
You can just tell by driving at 11.
Right?
You can spot it.
Yeah.
On the road, you have to be careful as well.
Man,
it's
Vegas
legitimate.
is crazy right now.
You see, there's a lot of drink driving in town.
Yeah, and there's a lot of drunk drivers, and then they've been hitting people and leaving the scene. I mean, you guys see it all the time.
Last night.
Yeah, it's what's going on, man? Is it just people are out of their mind, or I don't know what it is? It's got to be, right? I mean, last year it wasn't like this. Obviously, COVID, but even previous years.
One thing with Vegas, which is different from other states in America, is that alcohol is prevalent everywhere, and you can drink 24 hours, and it's everywhere. And if you have a problem with it, then it's not a great environment. I would say. So
you guys, are you guys people? You guys.
And I say that because I know that I do have a problem with alcohol, and I don't drink.
Yeah, I mean, everybody's got their thing. They do. But if you go in, let's say if you're going to go into a store, would you go into a Lee's Liquor? Would you guys rather go into a store, or would you rather
Lee's Liquor's excellent.
Yeah.
It's really good.
Because I went into Lee's Liquor myself to get a few things, and I was impressed. But there's other stores. It's not just Lee's Liquor. I think it's the most predominant because of how he marketed the store with all the funny things. They would put themselves on.
Their billboards are awesome.
It was great.
It's number one, and they're everywhere, and it's incredible selection as well.
What I'll say is what COVID did for our business. I mean, again, my company, I can only speak to my company. 87% of our business was done at the bars and restaurants. And then when COVID hit, obviously nobody was allowed in the bars and restaurants. And we had to pivot as an organization to figure out how we were going to be a retail brand. Because now all the consumers that are wanting to have their beer, their wine, their cocktails, they can't go anywhere. So they're at the liquor stores. And this is where you saw liquor stores that themselves make a pivot. How did they market? Did they want to market to a certain cocktail? Did they want to market to a consumer? Did they want to be the everything that you can get all in one shop? And so that's where we had to choose our path as a company, and we had to focus on cocktails. My company makes 52 different products. I mean, that's a head explosion at a liquor store. So we chose to focus on the margarita, and we chose to focus on the Negroni. And by doing sort of those streamlined a little narrow, we found people gravitate to pick up our mixers to make their margaritas, because it doesn't take much to make a margarita, right? It's 3 ingredients in a blender.
Right.
And then we said, for the people that want to have a nice cocktail at home, you can go over to this section where the gins and the aperitifs are and stuff like that. So I think that's for us where Lee's was instrumental, where they were able to guide the traffic.
Well, I guess, though, with your product, having a line of 52 products, consumers get overwhelmed or confused. 100%. And you had to educate them, because the bartender at Herbs and Rye is a connoisseur and will do that for you, for your company. But I guess you had to educate people as to this is how to make a fancy drink and use our fancy spirits. Did you do Is that what you did in the stores?
Yes and no, because the average consumer, they have a 90-second thought process.
Yeah.
When they walk into the store, they are very linear. They're there to pick up their wine, their beer. They're going for something, but they may get piqued this interest one way or the left, and you have 90 seconds to sort of grab them and decide, hey, I didn't come in to get a Negroni. I didn't come in to get a margarita. I came in to get white wine, but wow, this caught me, and I will only devote 90 seconds to you to think about if I can do this at home. Because to your point, at Herbs and Rye, me and you were sitting at the bar for 7-10 minutes, and our time's invested with that bartender. We're willing to participate. The people coming in and out of the store, they're only there for a short time. They're turn and burn. So we tailored our sort of messaging to capture that person, gravitate them 90 seconds, give them sort of an incentive, and then they were on their way.
I think I watched James Bond movie on Friday, and there's like product placement of Negroni in that movie. They said it's all prevalent, like there's conscious and subconscious like product placement and promotion, but I do remember them saying like in the James Bond movie, Negroni.
See, it's a funny one that that's cemented into you.
It's unique.
And now you kind of want one, I bet.
So it's like, but you know what's funny though? Like, so I'm a huge supporter of Josh. So Josh and I go back years and years and years to our childhood, right?
I didn't know that,
he's always introducing me to these new cocktails, and the Manhattans and the old fashions and the Negronis and stuff like that. And every time he goes and he has something else to introduce, I try to support as much as I possibly can. So when I go to like an Herbs and Rye, or I go to the Chandelier Bar over at Cosmopolitan, and I ask them like, hey, do you have Bols Geneva? And they light up. They get excited about it.
Because that's their job.
Because they're like, wow, now it's my chance to actually make something cool rather than a vodka Red Bull, a beer, or whatever.
It's
right?
like job satisfaction.
So, and they always ask me like, what do you want? Do you want something citrusy, or do you want this, or do you want that? I'm like,
do you know?
Make me your best cocktail with Bols Geneva.
Joe, I didn't realize you were so fancy.
Oh, I'm bougie, baby. I am bougie.
Have you just met him?
I know he's really fancy.
Hey, but you know what I was thinking is how many people walk into a store like that and they're like, they're ready to go for something that they already know that they go after, right? It's like, I'm already committed. I already know what I like. But then they see a fancy bottle and they're like, hey, that's a nice looking bottle. I bet that inside that it tastes really good. Is that part of the marketing scheme, is like putting like a fancy bottle or fancy? It is, right?
100%.
I know it is, man.
The shiny new thing.
I know it
Letters
is.
are nice. Like
It really is. And shout out to the Dutch. I've worked with the Dutch 11 years, but we really spent time on this particular bottle that we're talking about, Geneva. And those of you that know it, it's a gray glass. And we are the only bottle that has procured this gray glass. And then we took this calligraphy that's specific to Amsterdam calligraphy. And we made the name Bols Geneva 1575. And so to your point, even if you don't know necessarily what's in the bottle, your eyes will go to it.
Absolutely.
And you'll give it a little window. You'll say, maybe I want to try this. I don't know what I'm getting into, but maybe I want to try this. And I think that's a phenomenal thing what you're seeing the tequila companies do right now. They're making different bottle shapes and sizes. They're making the cork closures. They're making, they're taking a lot of that Mexican authenticity, bringing it to the bottle that's on the shelves here. So, you're 100% spot on that.
Do you think it's hard, though, to get somebody where they fully commit to try something new? Like, you walk into a store, I mean, everybody's got their old faithful, right? They just go to the bottle or whatever they know that's but they look at it like that's where I know. But wait a second, I stop. Maybe there's like you go into these like places where it's like these you got these like workout stores and they're in there, they're doing like, hey, try this new drink or try this new thing. Is it similar to like with the alcohol places? Like, hey, I'm gonna mix something up real quick right here. Like you set up a little shop. You think
you're talking about Costco right now?
Sample day's great, right? Don't you love sample day?
But you think, that's probably, it's hard for people to try to transition to your liquor, right? I mean, if they're not into that liquor.
So there's an interesting point. You're dead on that. So there's a price threshold, number one, because you, me, we're all going into a store with a single mind. We're going to buy this. We have X amount of money in our pocket. But then maybe something catches our eye. There's a certain price threshold that consumers are willing to sort of take a risk on.
Yeah.
And it's over $30. Over $30 is the price threshold. Under $30, people are willing to take a test on it. And then the other side, if it has more than 2 ingredients, to them, when they get home at their bar to make drinks for their cocktails or their friends during brunch,
they don't have it.
It's too much for me.
Yeah.
They're willing
Josh,
to take a mix, a juice, and maybe a bitter, and then that's it. They're out.
So in what you just said, so under $30, people will experiment. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, sir.
And more than 2 ingredients, they get confused or
They do.
overwhelmed and they bounce.
I think it's more overwhelmed than confused. They just feel like they're
Because
not going to be
logistically, they have to think
Right.
about it and they just scratch it.
Correct.
Yeah, that's interesting, actually. Yeah, it's interesting.
There's a lot of people out here too that start bars. You mean PTs? I mean, there's a lot of places out here where every corner seems like it has a bar. You would think that you would have those as well. Like, it's not just the restaurants and those. It's bars too. I'm sure you guys go after bars, right? Like local bars.
We do. But you know what's interesting about Bols portfolio is we have that range. We're spending time right now talking about the classic cocktails and the herbs and rye guys who have the time and people that want to experiment at home. But then the 35 other products that we have play into those PTs. They play into the sort of the everyday consumer. We are the mixer. We are the modifier. You want a margarita, you want a watermelon martini. We are that mixer modifier at Lucas Bols that's been doing it for 400 years.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, you look at the strip too, and you're like, well, you know, do I really want to? A lot of people, they go down there and they're willing to try stuff. So you would think that the strip would be something where if the experiment's going to happen, it's going to be down there, right? Because it's like if you're going to go home and drink, you're going to go home and drink with something you like, right? For the most part.
Something you're familiar
Yeah,
with.
if I'm going out to the club, you know what I mean? And I'm like, hey, what's this? And you know what I mean? Because I go out to the club all the time now. So
You gotta invite me, man. I'm newbie here.
Dan.
yeah, I'm a weekend warrior. So
right.
you go out there. I mean, you think though, like, hey, you know what? Maybe I'll try this. I think the clubs would be a good scene for that too, right? I mean, you think that they would be more willing to kind of be, hey, I'm already drunk because I got here and I'm drunk, so maybe I'll try it. You know what I mean? Right?
Yes and no. Again, I think that's where my portfolio is a little divided. Where on the one side of the portfolio, it's for everybody. You know, that you want your margarita, you want your Bloody Mary, you want your blue Hawaiian, whatever you want. That's exactly where Bols plays in. And people, to your point, at that stage in the game, you know, they're willing to pay whatever, but they kind of want something that at least they know they can order. You know,
Okay.
And you know, the other side of the portfolio, then we cater to people like we were saying. We sit down at a bar, we're willing to invest a couple minutes. You and I are having a chat, and we're going to have a good couple classic cocktails or two. So it's an interesting one that I'm still getting to know here, you know, on the strip and off the strip. There's a lot of places off the strip that we got our eye on too.
Let's transition into real estate.
Should we talk about some real estate?
Yeah, let's talk about real estate.
alcohol.
I mean, I'm already drunk talking about this. I got a hangover already. So let's talk a little bit about your situation, and then we'll kind of delve into talking to them about where they're at with real estate and where they see things. But so you went and bought a new home?
I did.
Ballpark, what was your price point?
Joey was my realtor, so you have to ask him.
Joey?
900.
Okay. Now, was that – now, look, I got something up here that says 900 was actually not a bad place to be because it seemed like a lot of these people that were listing their home at 800, 900,000, some of them were getting it, but some of them were way out of the – you know, off the charts. So I'm starting to see – I saw some graph that showed that it came down a little bit where maybe slightly less people are starting to reduce their prices. So I'm sure you got a good deal on it, right, Joey?
Fantastic. You feel good about it, Josh? I do.
I do feel good.
Okay,
about
so
it, yeah.
what ended up happening? Did you go through the process? Were you guys one of those people that were in multiple offer scenarios? Did you guys have to try to beat out somebody? Did you go above list? Give us the details.
The world's gonna hate me on this one. We didn't. We actually.
Wow.
It was a very smooth process for us. My wife and I, we've been in Denver 9 years. We were sitting on the couch. I don't know, later on in COVID, and we were just feeling that we had outgrown Denver, the lifestyle for us, the opportunity for us as a family, and we kind of made a short list of places that we would move. We knew where we didn't want to move. We thought about where we would move, and we thought about places that we wanted to be in. Nevada was one of those.
Did you guys ever check out D Street? Because that's
No.
Oh, wow.
because I mean I wouldn't have started there, but you know there might have been like a quick tour. Not Joey knows what
We
I'm talking
came out
about.
here 2 weeks. We bounced around. You know, we took some of Joey's advice. We bounced around here, bounced around there, and we ultimately landed it. We went out to Lake Las Vegas. We went twice. We went one time at night, and we were like, I don't know about this place. And then we went one time
it's
before our
crazy.
flight.
Yeah.
And we thought, wow, this is kind of exciting. And then we were seeing all the builds they were due out there. So fast forward, we put our offer in. We were against none of that stuff. The only thing that we won actually was there was a person that had their earnest money down on the lot we wanted.
Yeah.
And that person, sucks for them, good for us, pulled out, snatched it up, and
Dude, that's awesome.
yeah, it really is,
Yeah,
man.
it works out.
We're stoked. Thank you so much.
Las
We're-
Vegas.
It's
the Lake
it's
Las
tough.
Vegas is
I mean,
nice.
the market's softening a little bit, and we'll talk to you guys about it. So the challenges that a lot of these people were going through, you kind of probably missed that, right? I
Yeah.
think you just kind of passed that up.
Yeah.
Anything else, like as far as challenges, was the transition? A lot of people don't like the transition from state to state. It's kind of hard timing it out. Were you guys already prepped and prepared to get over here and like move all this stuff, or is it still a process?
Yeah. I laugh because I've been having this conversation with Joey on the way over. We've been here since Monday, and so there's little things. I didn't know that my washer and dryer wasn't wired for this house. So we are at the end of living out of our suitcases. We got some boxes going on. I can't wait to go home and do some laundry later this weekend when the stuff gets delivered. So it's just little living things like that. But I think we prepared the best that we could to move here. Thankfully, the movers showed up when they said. The closing happened when it could. And now, we're trying to get on with life. We're living out of boxes, like I said, a little bit.
Yeah, it's tough, man.
But it's again, it's a week old. So we're so happy to be here. Everybody's been great so far that we've met. I got to say, shout out to the people here, from the Uber drivers to people I'm just meeting everywhere. Everybody's super helpful. All these contractors that have been coming over.
Yeah.
Everybody, really good vibe here. Really, really loving the first 7 days.
That's awesome, man. The weather changed quick, didn't it? It was like hot to cold, right?
Yeah.
That's how Vegas is, man. It's like, 1 week, you're just out there and you're in the sun and everything's hot and you're rolling the window down or whatever you're doing just to get air in. Now I'm dressed up, man. I'm coming in with jackets and
beanies, face masks.
Well, all of a sudden I turn the heater on and it's all like dusty and everything's just kind of kicking on for the first time in 5 months. You're like,
talk about dusted. We played golf yesterday at Reflections.
Yeah.
And like 70-mile-an-hour dust storm.
Oh, wow.
Oh, man, it was insane. And again, from Denver, we're used to, it'll snow in April and May.
Yeah.
So just when you've put all the winter clothes away and got the yard ready, here comes the snow. So it's not sort of unforeign, but we were shocked to wake up as cold as we did this morning. And with the amount of wind that came through last night. My really little patio furniture I have was all strewn over the backyard, and I had to bust out my hoodie here.
I think too, you look at the challenging market, and you guys can also talk about this, but the challenging market is that 500,000 to 600,000 range, maybe 400,000 to 600,000 range, where that's where that multiple offer. So you probably also at a price point where there's competition, but you're not going to have as much competition. So Matt, like, you're obviously dealing with a lot of people out there. You're out there, right? You're in the trenches. You're talking to a lot of people, trying to make offers. Is that accurate? Is that accurate where the price point's at, where you're seeing these multiple offers happening?
I would say it depends on how good looking the home is. Like the good looking homes, it's still like really competitive. Some people that are like exiting and selling, they're like it's a bit overpriced. And there's spread in between what the seller's asking and what it's going for. But good looking homes go like in nanoseconds, and they always will in any market, but like especially so in this market. But
like you look at these price points, like if you're dealing with a $1 million client, it's a little easier to get into an offer and get it accepted and probably not have to go too crazy, right?
I got a listing that it's 1.1 million. So like I've really been focusing on this one home that I want to put into contract. I'm the listing agent, and there was like 32 homes. So whenever I take a listing, I send the client what I call, this lady's name is Corrie. So I do a search called Corrie Competition. So then any buyer that comes here that wants, this house is a half acre, 1.1 million with a pool, nice house. Like, so I make a search of like quarter acre to half acre homes that are in that price bracket. And I've been surveying that part of the market very carefully for the past like 6 weeks. And in what I can tell you to answer your question is in what I'm doing now, like there's 32 homes on the market in the whole valley that are like 1 million to like 1.3 million with a pool, quarter acre to half acre. And like 1 or 2 go into contract each week, but a lot of them are sitting. And so like it depends on each price point, obviously, but what I'm saying is that, I don't really know what I'm saying, but if I'm honest,
But is that the same for you, Joey?
What I'm saying is I don't know what the takeaway from that is.
I'll tell you what the takeaway is that I got from it is you have less opportunities.
Not Fast and Furious.
And $1 million price point is actually a normal thing now. You go back 5-7 years, that was like unreal. People would be like, "You're buying $1 million home, you must be rich, right?" I mean, that's what people would think. Like, I mean, you that would be like the upper tier of realtors out there that are really making offers and doing deals.
Not anymore.
Yeah. No, it's not.
Yeah, our luxury market's starting at like 2 to 2.5 to 3 million.
Yeah,
right. Which a couple of years ago was starting.
That's crazy.
Was at $1 million, $1.5 million.
Yeah.
That's crazy. So you look at your situation. Let's talk to you a little bit. So you're out there and you're looking at new homes a lot, right? What's going on with the new home sector? Like, what do you see out there with $1 million homes, or just people that are on the list, on the waiting list?
You know, at the upper tier in Summerlin, we're seeing a lot more availability.
Okay.
Right. In that 500 to 600 base price, we're seeing a lot more people that are on that waiting list.
Competition.
Right? So it's kind of weird though, right? It's kind of weird because we're not seeing a lot more. We're not seeing a big influx of inventory hit the market, but with Pulte Homes up in Summerlin at Red Point, their new subdivision up there, typically you have to do an easy offer process, right? You have to go through, you have to offer based on whatever they release their lots at. If there's 50, 60, 70,000, how much more you will pay. You have to build a house on paper. You get pre-approved. You have to go through the process. I went up there and showed some houses, or showed some, the model homes, and we saw their availability, and I was shocked. I was like, I understand that you had a release. What else do you have coming available? She's like, oh no,
we still got them.
We have like 6 or 7 home sites that are still available.
That's very telling.
Right? So it's kind of weird. And that's usually the first telltale if the market's softening a little bit. But then you jump into the resale market, and I'm submitting offers, and we're multiple offers.
Yeah.
So is the market simmering in the resale, or is it simmering in the new home?
I think what's happening on that upper tier is that the builders have gotten so greedy, and the
resales are better value.
Yeah, they're asking so much more for what the value of the land is, or the land is actually valued at.
Yeah.
Because who's going to go in there and pay $200,000-$300,000 for dirt, and then pay a $900,000 for a base price, 25% in options?
Yeah.
It's getting crazy. So I think what's happening is people are starting to shift. They're pivoting. They're saying, hey, you know what? It's better opportunity here in the resale market, because what's happening too now, you had so many investors in this market, right, that were going in and renovating homes. And they were renovating homes in that $300,000 to $400,000, $500,000 range.
Doing a good job.
Very good job. And now what's happening is that inventory is so thin. Now they're jumping into that luxury market.
Really?
Right?
Okay.
So now you're getting these homes that were built in 1999, 2000, 5, 6.
Yeah.
Renovating them, bringing them up, putting in the big, beautiful pivot doors, putting in like all the bells and whistles. And now that makes more sense to somebody than
building new and paying for that themselves.
Exactly. Yeah. So now they're insulating themselves from that inflation from the new home prices.
Yeah, you're seeing the same thing a little bit, Matt?
No, what you said makes sense, Joe. I know like a couple flippers in town that jumped from like doing $300,000 to $400,000 to $500,000 homes, and they're like, we're just going to do $1 million homes now, because there's not the competition in the acquisition for the flipping, but they know that they're going to get the money out of it. And the flippers can put those pivot doors in, like they know what they put them in probably for the similar cost or less than the builders, but the builders are marking the heck out of them. Yeah. Like if you want a pivot door for a builder, like on a fancy house, like what do you think that runs at? Yeah. It must be
like
stupid.
15, 20 grand off the pivot door. So I did a property tour today for a client. It's in the heart of Green Valley, single story, listed at $850,000, and it had basically all of the upgrades, fixtures and finishings, maybe not at the 2020, look, but it was a renovated property. But they put the pivot door in, they put the storefront windows in, right? They enclosed the den or office space with the storefront windows, black framed out. Absolutely stunning for $850,000. Yeah. You take that home, you put it into Summerlin, in a new subdivision, $1.5 million to $2 million easily.
Yeah.
It's crazy. So you look at, I got this chart right here. I just want to look at this real quick. So this chart, it's kind of, you guys can't really see it, but this chart is showing, like, look at these months. I believe are these 3 price points right here: 250, 300, 350, 400, well above over list, right? So I mean, it just says that. Obviously, at those price points, people are consistently going on. This is existing.
So does anyone know, like, I was told that this data is coming in on the third Thursday of this month, what the median home price was for September. Did you know if it went up or went down?
I thought it was 411,000.
for this month for September. So it went up a bit.
Yeah.
The previous 2 months was 405,000.
Yeah, it's
flat.
411.
So it crept up a little bit.
Yep.
That's okay.
So the good thing is this: I've seen it nationally. The big news is that we've dropped very so slightly on prices. Now here in Vegas, I don't know if that we can say that.
Joey just told us.
Yeah. So for me, I'm saying, well, that's a good sign. Now, do you think that's going to continue going into these next few months, this fourth quarter?
I think
I
it's.
do.
I thought it was either going to flat or it was going to creep up like what it did.
Yeah.
And my estimation is it's just going to keep up creeping bit by bit.
Yeah,
I hope
think so.
I hope that happens.
Yeah, no, I think so. We have such an influx of people that are moving here from. We all know California. There's a huge exodus what's happening in California. But I'm getting buyers from Chicago, from Jersey, from Florida, even. So we're pulling people from every direction, which is kind of interesting. You know?
And I think too, there's like a timing thing for people. You know, I mean, over here, I mean, I know you moved right now. Was there a reason why you moved at this time? I mean, obviously you guys wanted to come to Vegas, Josh, but was there something that triggered you to come here at this point, or were you like trying to time it out for some reason? Like, what was the reason for you guys coming at this time? Was it just the right time for you guys?
I think it was the right time. I don't think we didn't have a set time scale, but we knew that we wanted to exit Colorado before the winter, number one. And then when we came out here, we saw this little window that had we not jumped on this particular new build property with this builder, that was going to close by the time we got home.
Right.
So there was a little bit of eyes wide open when we came out here and saw that we should do this right now if we truly had the intention to move out here.
Right.
And then that precipitated everything else afterwards.
Do you guys have kids?
We don't.
No. Okay. So that's probably easier for you guys. You don't have to worry about school. You know, for us, obviously, if you're going to move, like for myself or Matt, Joey, we'd have to try to time that out. I think a lot of people time out not to move during the summer, or to move during the summer, and then not move at this time. So it's typically slower right now. That's what I feel. I mean, are you slower right now, Matt?
Yeah.
You're a little bit slower, right?
Matt is slow.
We recognized quite quickly the builder cost.
Yeah.
No matter what
It
state we
creeps.
were
Crazy,
in, it
right?
was creeping. It was creeping
They
in
are-
Colorado. It was creeping everywhere around the
Yeah.
country. And that's when my wife and I discussed that if we didn't choose to plant our flag here now,
Yeah,
if we were going to come back
you
in
wouldn't-
2-3
you'd
weeks.
be locked out.
Exactly.
Well,
So
yeah.
with that being said, I mean, inflation nation, right? I mean, costs of goods, costs of services,
Everything.
everything is going through the
Everything.
roof. I mean, things on the grocery shelf,
Yeah,
everything is
it's-
skyrocketing right now.
100%.
With interest rates have gone up, have they not?
They've gone up ever so slightly. They're not going to go up, though. The Fed can't afford it. I mean, a lot of people say that they're going to continue to go up. They have a string to pull. Has inflation stayed longer than I anticipated? Sure. You know, but also with that, they also have a little, you know, something in their back pocket where they can just pull a string and raise rates slightly or do something to help with the inflation problem. And that's, so yeah, they would go up, but I don't think they're going to go up to 5%, 4.5%, 5%. I think a lot of people think it's only so much, you know, in so much time we're going to just see rates go crazy. I don't think we can afford it.
So
No,
like
and that would
on
further compress the supply chain issue I feel like
Right.
we're all facing, whether it's goods to build a home or goods in the grocery store. I mean, if they raise the interest rates on us and at the same time we can't get stuff to build a house, that's a massive
Yeah,
compression.
I mean, it's a concern, though. I mean, like I said, I'm not going to say that it doesn't concern me. I don't feel that the inflation, because inflation is something they look at and gauge every single meeting, so overall, you know, yeah, I mean, you go get a steak, you know, the same steak, $15 is now $30.
I take-
So,
Or it's
I mean,
smaller.
yeah.
The portion is smaller.
So
too.
I have two sons, and we'd always like eat. I get steaks, and like now when you get steaks at the supermarket, it's like 30-40 bucks.
Yeah, man. I'm
Like,
telling you, it's not
like,
the same.
not the
No,
same.
I'm like breaking 2 bills doing my weekly shop.
Right?
So are you going to
So-
let them keep eating steak, or where
I
are you
mean,
headed with
you
that?
know,
You want chicken nuggets and French fries? What's going on, Matt?
Let's just say they're well fed.
Yeah. I mean, look, at the end of the day, we all see this happening. We see the housing market consistently going up. But I'm going to tell you that I feel like the builders, they're starting to give the comp back, the co-op, right? They're starting to give the agents where they're going to get paid.
You know,
That's-
I wish that were true. I mean,
That's not happening.
That's not happening. It's not happening.
Only with a couple
Explain
builders.
what
Certain ones.
I've heard.
all right.
I've heard
Yeah.
that they're trying to entice people because now, look, they got the lot premiums and some of them are getting them. Summerlin, you're probably getting that lot premium. Somebody's going to come in and throw that money down.
So with certain builders, they've gone back to 3% co-op. Lennar has not.
That's against their culture.
Yeah, Lennar has literally removed 100, almost 100% of all of their communities from cooperating with realtors. So I closed on a house in Lake Las Vegas. We closed on a house.
Yeah.
Right. I've been working with these clients for over a year.
Yeah.
We've been working diligently trying to get them into a property. We finally got them transferred out here from Chicago. $3,000.
Oh, wow. Lennar, obviously.
Lennar. Yeah. But they also have communities all across the valley that they offer zero.
But here's the thing. Can I tell you something else? A friend of mine went to go work for them as a sales agent. Mm-hmm. Their sales agents are equally as miserable.
Oh, 100%.
Like, it's not good.
Absolutely.
But mysteriously, it's only because of this market that they can do this as a culture and practice.
Yeah. And honestly, in my opinion, like, I tell my clients, I'm like, look, we can go explore. Look, if I don't care if they don't pay me, but I want you to see the product, the end result yourself.
Right.
So we'll go walk property, and I mean, the truth is in the pudding. I mean, they deliver a terrible product, and I'm not afraid to say it. They deliver a terrible product. If you own a Lennar home, you know what I'm talking about. If you're looking to buy a Lennar home, buyer beware.
So look, if you're in that price point though, and you can't find anything, are you pushing them to go to Lennar?
No, absolutely not.
Not at all.
And I tell my clients straight up.
Because you're not getting a commission, or just because you don't believe in the product?
No, I don't believe in the product. Like, we will sit down and have a buyer consultation, and I will go through and I will do a price comparison to where if you do buy a home and you have to select your options compared to what Lennar's motto is, everything is included.
Not true.
And you do a price comparison, it equals out to almost the same. The only difference that there is that there's money out of pocket to put deposits on your options.
Right.
But all of that money goes towards your down payment anyway, so you're just prepaying.
Plus, Lennar will try and jack you on the mortgage, on the mortgage rate. Some builders do. I'm happy to say Lennar because I always like throwing them under the bus.
Well, yeah, you're absolutely right. Well, look, here's how they do it. I'm not going to sit here. You're 100% right, man.
No, all 100%. The time. Okay, so like you got to be really careful.
Like, give me the loan.
No, this is important.
No, because Matt knows, man.
This is really important for a home buyer that's buying a new home. Is that if you have a good agent, such as Joey or myself, or someone that knows.
Right.
So builders, they own the mortgage company, they own the title company, they own the building company. They also own an insurance company as well, probably. So they're vertically integrated to squeeze as much money out of the transaction as possible.
Yeah.
Now, they offer closing costs if you use their preferred lender, and you can't make a reservation unless you're pre-approved with their preferred lender.
Right.
So what they do is they know they got you. They know they're going to give you like an extra $5,000 for closing costs if you use their lender. Mm-hmm. But then what they do, some do this, right? They'll add an extra quarter, third, half point to the mortgage rate.
Yes.
And that equates to like tens of thousands of dollars in extra cost to the borrower, which makes the $5,000 credit they give you just like a little bit of bait and lure.
Absolutely.
So they can jack you.
It's all smoke and mirrors.
It is. I mean, it's from a lender's standpoint.
You need magicians to point out the smoke and mirrors.
100%. You look at the situation, and it's funny that you brought that up. So you're right. I love the smoke and mirrors, man.
Not if it's working on you. It's not good.
No, it's not
good. Just to clarify.
Buyers beware. So it's a rebate that they give you, and that's true. And what it is they don't have to disclose what the true rate they would give to you. That's the difference.
Yeah,
the difference is they don't have to say,
shifty.
My par rate is this, but I'm really driving it up a half a point, like you said.
Do you know what's even more unfortunate is that what I've done in the past is I've had a preferred lender match the rate or drop the rate, and then sadly they'll still use the builder's lender, because then the builder will say, oh, you got us, and then they drop the rate, and then they say you're still going to use us, otherwise you're not going to get the $5,000 closing cost. Yeah. So it's kind of like a catch-22 situation.
Yeah.
But
it is.
At the end of the day, our fiduciary duty is to create as much value for clients as possible, regardless of how we do it.
Plus, too, I talk to Joey
as
about
long
it
as
all
we
the time.
don't do
Joey's
anything
probably
illegal.
sick of hearing about it, but I'm always like, Joey, if they get in halfway in, the builder's going to try to strong arm their way, and they do it every time. Listen, I got to have this conversation. Like, listen, you got to take care of, like, choose me. If you want to choose them, choose them.
Yeah.
But let's do this together. I don't want to go 3/4 in and I got all these things going on.
But I always tell our clients every time we go into this and we're they have to go through the process because you can't get around it without getting pre-approved with their lender and to try to get the house. So you have to go through the process. And I always tell, look, compare the estimates side by side. Look at it long term. If this is a 2-3 year commitment, it might make sense for you to actually take the $5,000 or $8,000, whatever they're offering.
It might, yeah.
But if this is a 10, 15 year,
they always match.
They
always match.
But
if you say it correctly.
But at the end of the day, nothing is for free.
No,
nothing is for free.
No, they're making it somewhere.
People like to do business who they have the best relationship with.
Yeah.
Right. Who they feel comfortable with.
Yep.
It's not about, they're going to give me the big, bright, shiny object. They're going to be $5,000. At the end of the day, $5,000 is $5,000. Over a 30-year term, it doesn't mean nothing.
Plus, if you get a better rate with a different lender, you'll make the money up in the long run, right? So I think that's another thing to look at.
Most people are payment conscious, right?
You just got into a house, right, Esmeralda? So let's talk a little bit.
Wait a second. You didn't use myself or Matt to buy your new house. Wait a second.
Yeah.
And this foot on blast.
So how much was your price point of your home? Wasn't it like 400,000? You said
it was 500.
500. Now, when you went into it, you said that there was multiple offers. You were going above list. This is that price point we're talking about. Mm-hmm. You were in competition. You were fighting it out, right?
Well, for me, what it was, there was no cash offer, so I put in an offer that I thought I was comfortable. It wasn't tons. I did 10 over.
Right.
And that's all I did. What saved me was I already had everything pre-approved, and so whoever else came in, they didn't. So they picked my offer, and I knew the listing agent, I knew the broker, I knew the owner,
right?
I knew a lot of people, so that really infused my favor to get it. So it was simple. I closed in 11 days. So.
Awesome!
Wow, 11 days.
11 days.
I would have done it in 10.
Crap!
That's really good. I just like.
I thought it was fast for me. I really wasn't. I was supposed to close October 31st.
Right.
So,
cool.
It worked out, better than I thought. I was like, okay.
So when you went into this market, though, was there anything hesitating you to say, I'm going to buy now, or should I wait, or is it going to come back? Everybody thinks it's going to start to come back.
I wasn't planning to buy right now, to be honest. I was trying to buy last year, and everybody was, they had cash offers, and obviously they won every time. So I got discouraged, and I just was like, whatever. But I kept looking. Being a title rep, you always look what the market and what's happening. And I just happened to see this house at 3 a.m, which I told you guys. And
what were you doing up at 3 a.m?
I just was up. I couldn't sleep, so I got up and I just
was it
shot?
No.
A few shots. No. So I noticed that at that time there was a whole bunch of different homes that I didn't see, and it was somebody I knew. So I was like, I just made some calls.
That's motivating to be up at 3 o'clock in the morning looking for a house. That means you're driven. I don't know anybody else that's up at 3 o'clock in the morning. Hey. Maybe looking online, but did you drive in front of the house and see it?
No, I didn't drive or nothing.
I thought maybe you were out and about.
I was familiar with the area, though, because I had seen other homes in there that I actually lost offers.
Yeah.
So it kind of I was like, oh, that's the same neighborhood I like. So that kind of worked out. But I will say this. We had a sales meeting yesterday, and they were talking about what the market would be and what's the trend, right, within the next year, 2 years, 3 years. And Tom Ferry, with some of our colleagues that actually went to the event, they said that they foresee this is the same market for the next 5 years. So we're going to be in the same.
What is this market? Explain what this market is. Can you guys explain what she's saying, or maybe you guys can all collaborate? What is this market?
In my personal opinion, so anytime that inflation runs rampant like this, a lot of people need to put their money in something tangible.
Right.
Right. So what do they turn to? They turn to real estate, right? Investments, right?
Or cryptocurrency.
Or emojis.
Something that's tangible, right?
Yeah. Brett's not here.
NFTs. Yeah. Maybe we get Brett on conference call and he can explain NFTs. Right?
But you see the same thing in the market then, right? Like you see a lot of stuff like where it's consistent, right, Matt? You see the same things happening.
I'm sorry.
This market, she said it's going to be for 5 years.
So my hunch is, which is a little concerning, but my hunch is that this incremental increase in price is going to continue for a few years, and like a house that's like 350, 400 is going to be like a $500,000 house.
Yeah, easily.
Like California.
Like California. Like,
and that's the thing.
That's scary for some people.
I mean, like 85%
Good if
of
you own
our
a
buyers
house.
right now are coming from California, so they're
Yeah.
cashing out
Yeah.
over there, and it's wild to even fathom that there's people that
you're-
are still living in California and they're buying these properties
say
as move-ups.
If you're not on
you
the
know?
market, you got to hop on something
because they're
if
driving.
you're
They're
gonna-
driving our prices. I mean, they're not afraid of our prices, right?
Even
They're
if
like
it's not. Even, sorry to interrupt. After,
You keep interrupting me.
sorry, I apologize.
Well, you know what it
I was
is?
going to say, even if it's the house you don't want or it's not ideal, like I would hop on the market. Otherwise, as it goes up, you could be left off the ladder.
Yeah, I agree with
Right?
that because I had these conversations with my clients that are like they're on the verge of being priced out, and I tell them all the time, I'm like,
Gotta
look,
jump, dude.
use this as a stepping stone.
Yeah.
Buy it now, live in it for 12 months, use it as a stepping stone,
Mm-hmm.
get that equity over time, and then
Cash out or sell
cash
and
out
get
and
another
move
one.
up.
Can I just say something? So I think the momentum that we forget that was happening now with the housing market was really stimulated because of COVID. Because what people realize being at home and working from home or just having to be there really had people to think about, hey, like, can I really live here? Is this big enough or is it too big? Is it comfortable? Can I work? Is it a place I can focus or is it not? And that's what stimulated actually the real estate because people were forced to be at home. So when you're forced to be at home, most of the time you leave. So you don't really have time to spend all day at home. You probably do it on the weekends and things like that. But
That's a good point.
But
Yeah.
what happened was because people were forced to be at home, people realized, hey, I can't really work here. I don't have an office. It's
Right.
not big enough. The kids are yelling. Now they're on Zooms. Now I have, I'm trying to do meetings and it's, I got to go outside. Like the pool's not nice. Like I'm not motivated by looking at my kitchen. It sucks. Like, so all these things stimulated the market and made people really think like, okay, my home is really important and it's a place that I have to invest. And that's what stimulated the market. And that's what's going to continue because now people had a taste of that. And now it's 2 years later. And now people are like, oh, I never really thought that was really important. That's what we had the generation under us that they didn't really care about buying. It was mostly like, hey, let's rent, let's live in a high rise. But when that took when that really took a hit like that, then now our generation under us, we're like, wait, that's really important. And we need to invest because what if this is a way of life and which is coming this way because now work environments are allowing you to do Zooms from home, working from home. People don't have to actually leave. So your home is valuable.
You're looking at like a long-term
Yeah.
position.
I agree with that because that's what really prompted us to myself and my family to move up and get a bigger home and and get the swimming pool and everything else. We were like, God forbid we have another shutdown and we're going to be locked in our small home but that with that being said, like it definitely sparked that movement, right? So a lot of people are like realizing that, but I feel as if there's such a surplus of cash that's entered the market with equity in people's homes, and now they're realizing, hey, look, I don't want to pay these high taxes. Prices are going up. Let's cash out. Let's move to this state. Let's move to that state, and really starting to kind of like maneuver and rethink because a lot of people can work from home, but it's crazy. In this past like 6, 7, 8 months, I've had a lot of clients that have told me like, hey, I can't move to Vegas anymore.
Well,
because now I actually have to go back to the office. So it's weird. It's like it sparked that movement, but now there's so many other factors that are driving the market, and people are like, it's wild.
I think you're like overanalyzing it because, I mean, a lot of the reason why people buy homes is they need shelter, or they're married and they want their wife to be happy, or they're single and they want to get laid. And you can't do that with a cardboard box.
Add all of those, but you can add all of those to that same. But
I know, but that's if you break it all down, I think that's what it comes down to.
Is that like number? That's up there in the top 3 recommendations. But I want to say this.
Top 3.
We're biased, right? We're all in the industry, okay? And everybody's getting a big spoonful of buy now, right? They are.
Yeah.
Okay. A lot of people think that the market's going to come down the other direction. Do you guys feel, and listen, I understand you're all saying it's going to keep going up. Do you see any reason why somebody, because I don't think people just want to hear, I'm a realtor, buy now because I said so.
I think,
let's go the other direction. Devil's advocate here.
I think there's a different way to coin the phrase you just used because you said, here's a spoon, buy now.
Yeah.
I think you should look at it as, here's a wooden spoon, right? If you don't buy something now, you're just going to get a wooden spoon. I think that's more realistic.
Yeah.
Do you have that in America? You get the wooden spoon.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, if you're bad, you go out to the outback.
The wooden spoon is like the booby prize, like the not good. It's like, and what I'm saying is the wooden spoon is that if you don't get into a home now within your means, then like some of your clients are, you're not gonna be able to get a house.
Well, but there's a lot
of
of data out there that says that the market's going to start to soften and come the other direction, and I think people are going to say, you know what,
that's
there's a
national
correction.
data.
Yeah.
That's
Right.
not local data. That's national data you're talking about.
Yeah,
This is a local market.
And I agree with you.
Yeah?
Because right now, in my database, what I have, the people that I'm working with and trying to assist them with their transition to Las Vegas, I have so many people, and our team has so many people of pre-approved buyers that we don't have homes to put them in. Like, we can't get them here fast enough.
Right.
Right.
Well, but
people have already made that decision to move. So going back to your data for the next 5 years, 110%.
So here's the question.
I agree with that. And try to be unbiased. I'm a home buyer myself.
Right.
I saw that where the prices were going, where the inventory was, and I had to buy. Because if not, if I try to buy my house today, I've already gained $100,000 of equity in my house, and I just closed in July.
How long did it take to build?
6 months.
Yeah, you see, that's the
well, look,
wooden spoon.
here's the thing, though.
If you hadn't
I wanna
locked
say
it in,
something
your
about
missus
that.
would have had
Yeah.
a wooden spoon for you.
100%.
Hey, but you
I
know
don't
what?
know where she would put it.
The commitment level right now.
Fancy. I told you, fancy.
Would you guys all agree? Would you guys all agree that the commitment level right now for people to buy is at all-time high? Because if you get into a house, you're probably paying a lot more than you were probably anticipating in the beginning. Also, too, if you look at now where the houses prices are at and the mortgage payment you're paying, why not just keep renting? I'm just saying because
rents are going
So-
up.
but listen,
rents are
maybe
going up.
maybe that commitment though is not there anymore.
can
you know?
can you be more specific about what you mean by commitment?
Meaning that, okay, I can get into a mortgage paying a mortgage payment, let's say of $1,500, but now the same house, I might have to pay 10 or 20 above it in some cases, maybe 5. But now my mortgage payment is quite a bit higher, maybe double. Now I feel like I'm overpaying for the house. And I just feel like, you know what? I've just lost hope. I don't want to live paycheck to paycheck because now I'm on a fixed income and I just can't afford this house.
I mean, that's not a price range you should
think
be
it's-
in.
Yeah.
And also, I think that I wouldn't say that I would sit here and tell people buy now. I think you should only buy when it's your market. And I've said this in other broadcasts that your market is when you can afford it. If you can't buy it cash, then you can get a loan at that time, because even let's say that the market dropped tomorrow, but if you can't get a loan, it's not your market. So who cares? That
Yeah,
it
but at
dropped?
the starting price point of a home, we were talking about $400,000.
Right.
That's a $2,500 to $3,000 mortgage. You have to make as a household income to be safe probably $7,000-8,000 minimum, right? Just minimum to buy something starting. That could discourage people.
Right. Well, then you have to make sure that's where your decisions come in financially. Like, hey, is this going to work? And this works with our bills and our family and whatever that looks like. I mean, that's the time that maybe you come in and play and be like, hey.
Well, I mean, I can give the pros and cons, but at the end of the day, it's like this. You know, you got to say, well, what's your position? What are you comfortable with? Because some people may have been comfortable 2 years ago, maybe even a year ago. They might not be comfortable now with what they're trying to deal with. Now, is it a good investment? Sure, but that's also a big commitment.
So something to follow up what you said, we mentioned inflation earlier. Like, I think it's going to be valid that if people are stretching to get into a home and they're maxing out their, is it the debt to income ratio?
Yeah, it's challenging already.
Then something that I think is in like a snake in the grass for some people based on how they make their income and if they're on a fixed income or whatever their personal situation is with their income, I think you're going to see people getting like a lot of pressure from inflation going up.
Absolutely.
And then
that's what I'm talking about.
And then that budget is going to be all like
And the
knocked
thing
off.
is here.
That's a valid concern for some people.
The thing is here too. Rental rates went up about 14%.
Well, that's true.
Right. So you have prices going up across the board every single month with resale and new homes, and then you have rental prices going up 14%. So where's the happy medium, right?
It's
so
gonna be
if
like-
you can afford it, I would say my recommendation
Buy a home.
as a real estate professional who's been in
go
this
for it.
market, go for it. Because
And
you know
then-
what? If you're going to have these increases over the next 5 years and you're going to be looking at double-digit growth going into 2022, 2023, you will be completely priced out of this market
Yeah.
and you will be forced to rent or move to another state.
And rent, they have the option now from some of my property managers that I've talked to, that they can add in the contract when they're renting, that they can increase rent every 3 months, 6 months. And if you don't want to comply with that, then they can
They can evict you?
and then just get somebody else that
You
will
just
pay the
gotta,
extra
like,
$100,
you got to plan out the
$200.
budget. get off the steak and do the beans.
So I'll give you
Beans and rice, baby.
Beans and rice,
Check this
baby.
out.
We got a house, so.
Can't afford steak anymore.
So just to let you know how strong the rental market is. Just to let you know how strong the rental market is. I have a friend who's moving from South Florida to Las Vegas. We identified a property at $4,500 a month at Turnberry, a condo. Okay, we put in the application. We got approved for the application.
Rental or
A rental for $4,500 a month.
It's a lot.
It's a lot.
2,000 square feet, 3-bedroom.
For a 2-bedroom at Turnberry. It's an 07 line.
Yeah, it's about right.
We were waiting for the lease
They
all
jacked it.
weekend. They gave it to somebody else who's paying $5,000.
That's outrageous. Was that Tamara Trainer?
No.
He says her name.
I know. I know.
Oh, wow.
I know pretty much
But
everyone.
They bid $500 a month more than what the
Do you know
ask
what-
was.
do you know what's funny?
$5,000 a month.
You know what's funny about Tanbury is it's pretty okay, but occasionally a pimp or a hoe slips under the radar, and you can spot them in the elevator.
Is it because they go down and they collect only cash?
No, you can just spot them. You can spot them. So overall, it's
Cash
pretty funny.
only.
But
They
then
took your
probably,
wallet,
but this
like-
is the other thing that
Dressing
happens.
nowadays. Are
This,
those,
no,
can you
this is
recognize
the other
them?
thing that happens when you like in a luxury high rise and they say, yeah, we're going to pay you cash and we're going to pay you for the year up front. That's normally a warning signal. But
Especially it's all once.
But can I tell you what? The rich old guys in there, they kind of like it though.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Like the rich old wealthy people.
Yeah, absolutely.
They like that extra bit of spiciness in the building.
So they're getting extra money then.
That's the real high rise.
All right. So we all agree though that this is going to probably simmer a little bit, continue to slowly increase.
I don't think simmer's the
Yeah,
word.
I don't
No.
think simmer.
I think simmer's the wrong word.
Yeah,
I would
I
say
agree.
it's gonna I mean it's not gonna come to boil, but the temperature's gonna increase.
Yeah.
You know?
We're going to see those same offers next year going into this in the quarter next year.
I don't know.
Which offers?
Above price. Things are going to
I
stay
think
I think it's
so.
gonna
steady,
creep. I
steady
think it's
as
gonna
they go.
creep up. It's just
I
gonna
think
creep
so.
up. Like if you what did you say 411,000? Like 6 grand?
Yeah, 411,000.
We get 5 or 6 grand every month on the median price.
Yeah.
That's going to be substantial over 12
Yeah.
months.
I mean, think about the people that were in the market to purchase before they were approved for 250 to 350. And I still get phone calls every day. This is our budget. This is what we want. We want the indoor
That's what I'm
outdoor
talking
living space.
about, yeah.
That doesn't exist
Yeah.
anymore.
No,
It doesn't exist.
I think they're thinking
unfortunately.
about the Midwest. I think they're
Yeah.
this. Oh, is this Vegas or the Midwest? I don't know.
The Midwest.
Yeah, Midwest has actually got some deals going on.
Yeah,
I heard
Nebraska,
Midwest
the
is
Dakotas.
Little
yeah,
North Dakota.
You can go,
yeah,
you can
man.
go long there.
Yeah, you can't go wrong.
sure.
And the weather's usually
Wichita.
pretty good. Wichita, Kansas.
Yeah.
So we're gonna end the show. You guys have anything else to say about real estate here, or anything else that's going on in the market? Matt?
No, I mean it's just this is a beautiful time of year at the moment. Like the weather's gorgeous, the sun's coming down lazily.
Yeah.
And I hope that I sell my listing next week.
We're sending
1.1
you
million,
Big
positive.
shout out
baby.
to the listing being sold next week. Let's
Needs to get into
we'll cross our
contract.
fingers for that.
it.
What about you, man? You got anything else to say over here, Joey?
No, man, I think we're in a really good position. I think this market's really, really healthy, especially for sellers right now. But if you're looking to buy in this market, don't sit on the sideline too long or you're going to get priced out.
How do you get a hold of you, Matt? Shield Team 6, right?
Yeah, or mattshield.com.
MattShield.com. How about you? How do somebody get a hold of you?
Top agent LV@gmail.com.
Bang.
Chuck, it's Cruel Swat Group.
CKG. And then thanks for coming on, man. Josh, you've been
Thanks,
great,
Josh.
man.
Hey, I learned
thank you. Learned a lot of information.
I appreciate your consumer behavior insights. I found that very interesting.
Yeah, no doubt,
No.
man. It's about the steak, not the
Yeah,
sizzle, right?
exactly.
You know? No, I will just say to everybody out there, I'm thankful for my wife is in
about
this
the
industry.
sizzle.
One of my greatest friends is in this industry.
Yeah.
Good sitting with you. Good sitting with
Yeah,
you.
nice to
but,
meet you, Josh.
But talk to your agents because I think there's a lot of information out there, and I have to feel that there's a lot more people overwhelmed with what they're hearing on the news. Buy now, don't buy this. Inflation. Talk to your agents. They will guide you. Let them tell you what your price points are because I think everybody should be a homeowner, and right now is a good time to be a homeowner versus a renter.
Appreciate you coming on, man.
Yeah, man.
Very
Thanks
good
for having
information.
me. Good hanging out with
Also,
you.
I want to say one thing. Esmeralda,
Yes.
next time you get a house, who's going to be your lender and realtor?
You guys have seen them. They're right here.
Because there's two of them.
My
So how do you
lender.
pick? How do you
I
pick?
don't know. I'm gonna have to
We
see
have
them.
You know
our test
what?
ready for you.
I don't know what these guys provide.
I might just have to go with his wife. I think she's also made
That's it.
I don't know about that. That sounds like insincere lip service.
I'm just kidding.
Guys, you know this is the channel for the most behind the scenes and real information regarding financing, real estate, money talk, entrepreneurs here through on-job experience in Las Vegas. I'm your host, Dan French. We'll see you at the next stream. Hit the like button and subscribe. See you guys then. Thank you for watching an episode of the French Workbench podcast. If you want to tune into past episodes, please subscribe to my channel now. Also, if you want to look at our audio only options, we do have iTunes and SoundCloud.